Carmen. I am so excited. Once again, you already know we are doing Balanced and Beautiful this month as we rapidly approach 2022. I know, no pressure. We still in the summer swing, but we are already thinking about how to prepare for next year as we recover from the past year. It's been a wild and crazy ride. You know, I call it the Corona coaster. And so I am hoping that you all are finding value in our series on Balanced and Beautiful. It has been such a joy to speak to so many women who are doing such great things, and just having the opportunity to learn from them, but also just see how they do it. And so today I am super excited to have Cheya Thousand join us. She was a part of our marketplace back at the beginning of the pandemic, and we are always partnering with Cheya. She has so many amazing tools to share in the area of self-care. So get your notepads, press rewind if you have to, because gems will be dropped. Just so you can learn a little bit about Cheya, she is a Christian burnout coach. She's an author, a wellness consultant, a speaker, and a podcast host. In 2017, she founded CT Wellness Company, a wellness training company educating students, professionals, and women on ways to overcome burnout. Important to live with intention. Her mission is to improve the overall physical and mental well-being and quality of life for students and leaders by empowering them to build a sustainable lifestyle. My friends, I want you to meet my other friend, Cheya Thousand. Hi, Cheya. I think you're on mute. Are you on mute?
I am on mute. Oh my gosh. Hi. Thanks for
having me. I'm so
glad. I should know that, right? By this point that I'm on mute.
I actually appreciate the people that stay on mute. If you're accidentally on mute, I prefer that before being accidentally unmuted.
True. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
So happy to have you. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. I am so happy that you are here. I was just looking back at snippets from the marketplace that we did back in April when we didn't realize how long we were going to...
No clue what we was walking into.
We were going to be in the house for 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. It turned out to be over a year. So, and you are continuing to push the needle on self-care and making sure that others are not only gaining access to information, but showing us how to use the tools. I feel like people just throw information at us and then it's like, okay, what do I do with that?
True. So it's really true. You were actually ahead of the curve though, girl. I got to thank you because you put something together at the very beginning where people were still trying to figure out like, what's this life about to be like? And you was like, okay, here's this marketplace. Let's do it. And it was successful and we did it. And even now with your resources, I have your candles, I have your scrub. That's part of my self-care. So I love it. Thank you.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. I am so glad to be able to provide something that is useful. It is, again, so much being thrown at us. Mm-hmm. And so it's my desire, as you know, to be in the homes and hearts of many. And so you have supported that from day one.
Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate you. I am ready to jump in because I am just super curious, and I know others will be as well. What inspired you to become a Christian burnout coach? Because there's specificity there.
Yes.
And so I'd love for you to talk a bit more about that.
Absolutely. So one, my pastor in New York, Pastor A.R. Bernard, speaks about specificity is the basis for cooperation. So that's why it was important for me to specify I'm a Christian burnout coach, because what I do is I use the Bible to actually speak to the information I'm sharing with people about burnout prevention and getting rest and what that looks like biblically. And I may not always execute at 100% in my own life, but it's one of those things where I was burnt out so many times. I've been burnt out 3 times over the course of the last 10 years. And every time I thought like, oh, I just need a new job. And you get a new job and you're like, these people are crazy. I don't want to do this no more. And the whole time you're running, but you're really running from yourself because you don't understand
Yeah.
that you're empty, you're depleted, you've been burning the candle at both ends. And what you need is rest. What you need is boundaries. And a lot of the time when you get a new job, you don't have boundaries. So you don't say no. You want to impress them. You want to show them you can do the job. I'm worthy of that money you just paid me. So I can come in early. I can close it up. And they're like, dummy, go for it. Yeah, cool. Your check doesn't change. And like what you
Not
don't
only that,
realize,
but like you do that so well. Here's some more.
yeah, like, oh, here, you can do that. And you're going to keep doing it for free because you've been doing it for free the whole time. So then when you start talking about promotion, they looking at you like, not when you've been doing it already for what we've been paying you. Like, nah, we good. So
Yeah.
that was my life for a cycle, like a while. And I moved out of New York 9 years ago and I relocated to Miami with a new job. And again, one of those things, I'm like, it's a new job. But I also started changing my lifestyle. Not living in New York means I lived a half mile from the beach. So that was one of the best things I could have ever done for myself when I moved to Florida. I moved to Fort Lauderdale, like on the cusp of Miami to Fort Lauderdale. And I was running to the beach like 3 times a week, working out at the beach, running back home. And I'm like, this Brooklyn girl, baby, this was like everything. I'm like, yes, okay, let's keep this going. And so I did that. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's see when I start focusing on my spiritual life, let's see what happens. And then I would realize I needed a creative outlet because I would have all these ideas. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to channel this into something. So then I'd be like serial entrepreneur. I always say I'm like the most serial unsuccessful entrepreneur because I was constantly starting businesses. And I'm like, girl, I know, I see you.
Hello.
They were not making as much money. They were making money. I'm not going to say that they weren't making money, but they were not making what they could have made had I just drilled and got a narrow focus. And so what I realized is that there's a such thing called the wellness pyramid, and everyone doesn't maybe necessarily know it or acknowledge it, but this was my understanding. And to be at really a balance, you need to fill your spiritual, your physical, and your creative buckets. I call them your SPCs. And the reason is once you're doing that, it's easy to recognize when you fall off kilter. It's easy to recognize like, oh, I haven't prayed in a while. I haven't spent time with God in a while. Okay. Well, I haven't worked out in a while. Oh, I haven't done anything creative. I didn't even sit down and color. Like you have kids and you won't color with them. And then you getting mad at them, getting frustrated with them because they want to be imaginative. Let's not beat that out of kids. Let's encourage that. And let's encourage our inner child to do the same. And all that does is continue to inspire us. So that's kind of how it started.
Yeah. That is amazing. So many gems right there, right? Gems for self, like a lot of people want to shift, especially now post pandemic, even though I don't think we're in a post pandemic, but the world will say we're post pandemic. People want to shift, right? Because they were doing something, they were forced into something else, and now they want to do something different from what they were doing before because they have this new way of life that was thrown at them. And I think the keys with that and what you speak about is like you can change jobs, locations, but if you don't change the inner, you carrying those scenarios with you. And also like the opportunities that are before us that we need to really hone in on our crafts. And when we really get specific about what we want and what our creative outlets can be and be imaginative, like we can turn it into anything. I love Christian Burnout Coach. I know a lot of people that will want your number.
That's awesome.
You better follow Cheya.
Yes, follow me.
Cheya Thousand, so she can support you in those areas. So over the last year, we've spoke a lot about it. Things have changed. Life was wild. What would you say was, I guess, the greatest shift that was a direct result to the pandemic?
Being completely honest, nothing in my life. And I'm going to tell you why. And this was mind-boggling to me as well. So right before the pandemic started, I actually took a leap of faith and I quit my job. I used to work at Amazon and I loved the company, but I didn't like what I was doing anymore. And I was a recruiter. And I took a leap of faith and I literally left a regular check for a contract role. And that was 3 weeks. And I think I talked about this on the panel too.
Yeah.
That was 3 weeks before we went into the pandemic, like legit lockdown. And it was amazing because what I feel like was happening in my life the year before was super chaotic. Like work was crazy busy. I was traveling. I was out of my house. I honestly should have moved out of my apartment. I was out of my apartment for 4 consecutive months, and I lived out of hotel rooms with my dog, and we lived in hotels for 4 months because that's how much traveling I was doing for work. Yes.
Wow.
So with that being the case, that was a hectic time. And then I went straight from traveling and opening buildings for Amazon to peak in my city. I live in Jacksonville, Florida. Peak was like, we need to hire like 5,000 people for these buildings. So I literally went from traveling 4 months to then coming home and having to hire like 5,000 people across 4 buildings with my team. Of course, there was a team of us doing it, but that was a lot. So then when it came time to like, okay, do I want to keep doing this? Because this is a crazy life. I want to be home. I want to be with my dog. Like, I just want to be stable. And there were other things going on. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do it. So I applied for a job and I got it. And it was beyond a godsend because the entire year before, I applied for over probably 200 jobs.
Wow.
I got 1 interview. 1. And if you know anything about me, anyone who knows me in real life, I've never had an issue getting a job. My resume is like solid, like boom, hire her. Like that's never been an issue.
I'm a witness.
See, and this year, 1 whole year, 200 jobs, 1 interview. And then this person, they called me and was like, hey, we have this opportunity. That opportunity didn't work out. The next one, she said, this is someone who does not know me, does not know my faith or anything. And she says, I think you didn't get the other one because you were supposed to have this one. I'm like, won't God do it?
All the time.
Won't he do it? So I went from not liking my job 3 weeks before a pandemic, no clue the world's about to shut down, working from home. So I did that 3 weeks before everyone else had to do that. So I was already getting into a rhythm by the time everything shut down. Me and my dog were in a rhythm. I went and bought a house. My life actually elevated in that time. Like, you hear what I'm like? Yes. My life literally elevated in 2021. So some people were saying like it was hard, but like, the God I serve, favor ain't fair. And the way that he was setting my life up was just like he literally had me on some like, do you believe I can do it? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, okay, like you don't sound too serious about it. And I'm like, I believe you. And even with the job, like they made me, I interviewed on Wednesday. They made me an offer on Saturday. I put my 2 weeks in on Monday. And on Sunday, I was in church like, Lord, is this really you? And the pastor got on stage and said, there's someone here. You have a really hard decision to make. And yes, it is God. Like, this is for you. I was like,
you didn't fall out on the chair because out of
Jesus, what?
Slain in the spirit. That's what I was saying.
So my life didn't really change. My life got better, and it changed because what the changes were things I had already been praying for. And these are this is one of those things where they say, if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. These are the things I have been praying for. 2019, I wrote my book. I started my business. I had my first speaking engagement. 2020, I did 5 speaking engagements in the middle of the pandemic, which I made way more money in 2020 on my side business than I did the year before when the world was open and sold more books. I bought a house. I got a new job. Oh, and I left my last job with stock. Like,
ooh.
The God I serve, though, like he was on some like.
Exactly. Love. And I love the way you talk about it because so many people have experienced so much loss and grief during the pandemic. And there are so many other people like yourself who have been extremely blessed continuously, still experiencing what the world was experiencing, but also seeing the sunshine, right? And like finding those spots of gratitude that just blossomed into so much more. And so I love that um you feel good and that you talk about it, because I know so many other people that feel like they can't speak about their blessings because
Nah.
so many other people are struggling. And it's like, no, we are changed by a testimony now. We have to speak about how good the Lord is and what he's doing for us.
Yes.
And guess what? He can do it for you
Yes.
too.
He's not sitting here like, oh, Shy is just so great, I'm gonna do these things. No, that's not it at all. And being completely transparent, like stuff was happening. The day
Right.
we did the panel, my grandmother died that morning.
Right. I remember
The
you
day
saying
we
that.
did the panel, my grandmother died that morning. Like there was stuff still happening in my
Yes.
life. And what's
Yes.
crazy is my grandmother died that morning and I closed on my house 5 days later. So God was not sitting here like, all right, you don't need to be down in this. Like there's other things happening. And at the end of the day, we are born to die. Like we're dying from the moment we're born. So we can't get caught up in that. And that's everyone to each his own and how they deal with grief. But
Yeah.
I've been experiencing grief from a very young age. And it's not something I've always embraced or been very comfortable with. But
Yeah.
in this season, girl, I just lost my dad. Like, what's today? The 6th of July. I lost my dad the same week I lost my grandmother this year.
Oh, I'm so
So,
sorry. Oh,
girl, don't
wow.
even, but it's God. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, the way that God be setting stuff up, like, at first I was kind of sad and caught off guard, but I'm just like, all right, Lord, like, this is you. And he just confirms through his people. He confirmed through my mom how she's dealing with stuff. Like, the way that God moves, there is grief happening, but there is still life happening. That's why even in the
There
Bible,
is
it says,
still life
girl, in the
happening.
Bible, God is like, Jesus is walking, telling people like, yo, follow me. The guy's like, yo, I gotta bury this person. He's like, nah, let the bury the bed. Like, what are we doing? The dead will bury the dead. You living, come live and catch men with me. Like, this is the life we're supposed to be living. So when I share and I speak, it's not just like, oh, a positive mentality thing. I have my moments. I complain. Trust me, I complain. I will
Look,
gripe.
oh,
But
yeah. I said I don't have any complaints, just a few requests, Lord. Just a
girl, I be
few
calling them
requests.
observations, Lord. I be like, I'm not complaining. That was just an observation, Lord. You saw that. You seen what they did. That was an observation.
Right.
I ain't complaining. I don't know why they did that though, but that was an observation.
Right. Oh, so good. So many gems. I hope you guys got your notebooks. Feel free to press rewind because it's here for you. Okay. So, Cheya, you are beautiful, talented. You have so much to offer the world. And a lot of people you support. I know you are a go-to person, gots to be. How do you like set boundaries for like your life when the people around you? Because as a self-care advocate, I know people are like, let me call Shia because let me go to Shia because she gonna have, Shia, could you help me? So how do you set boundaries around like, I'm Shia the person and then I'm Shia the support for wellness and self-care and burnout?
I think that's a great question, but before like I'm anything, I'm Shia, right? So
Yeah.
before anything, I'm a woman first, then I'm my faith. I'm a Christian woman, then I'm whatever I am to everyone else. And it's important to me. Anyone who knows me knows I'm serious about boundaries. I
Yeah.
don't always enforce them, which is how people will cross them or push them. But
Yeah.
I'm very serious and mindful of it because there's a level of self-awareness that has to be there for you to be willing to even do it. And courage, right? Like it takes courage to enforce and set boundaries with people, family, friends. You may be scared you're gonna lose someone or whatever the case may be. They're gonna get upset. So it's okay. And if you know me too, I don't normally feel bad. I feel like feeling bad is a very wasted emotion. Like it's either I'm gonna be happy or I'm gonna be mad, but I don't really feel bad. I'm no middle ground with that feeling bad business. Like this, you
That
almost never hear me say, I feel bad about that." Nah, I'm good.
That's a tweet right there. Feeling bad is a wasted emotion. Dig into that. Let process that. Are y'all paying attention? Process that. Feeling bad is a wasted emotion. Okay,
Because it's
continue.
not real most of the time. When you think about it and people say I'm feeling bad, is it sincere? Because what are you feeling bad for? Was it something you couldn't control? Or was it something you could control and you just didn't want to do it? So then you really don't feel bad because you did what you wanted to do to begin with. So you don't feel bad. So stop. Like, just stop. You will almost never hear me say I feel bad. And when I say it, I acknowledge. I almost never say this, but I feel better about that situation. I'll say that because there's very few times where I feel bad about things. So one, boundaries with me come in the efforts of like my phone. Yeah. I turn off, I go on do not disturb at 9:00 every night. Like that's just setting. 9 to 8 a.m. I'm on do not disturb. I think it's 9 to 7 a.m. I'm on do not disturb. Unless my phone's in my hand, I won't answer. I won't answer your text. I won't answer the phone, period. Unless it's in my hand, because my watch is on do not disturb too. So I don't even know. People message me and be like, oh, we will look. That's cool. You get me in the morning. My grandma had a saying where she always be like, I'm not a doctor and a lawyer. So in the AM, we can talk. Like, she's like, I'm not a bank. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. You can catch me in the morning.
Or a fireman or a police officer.
Hello. And you know, old people come through with it. They have no problem being hard with it. So I actually learned boundaries from my grandmother. We couldn't even call her after 8:00 at night. And if you were at her house at 7:50, she'd be like, all right now. You already know. The all right now was like, y'all gotta go. She's not here for the shenanigans.
Morning.
Get out of here.
She's about to Jazzy Jeff you.
Listen, on some like stand at the door with it open, like, y'all still here? Like, she regularly did that. And people laugh and be like, yo, I love like when you would go to your grandmother's house. I used to tweet her sayings and things like that, but I learned certain things from her. I may have not always implemented in my life, but as I get older, I can recognize like this is why she was good. Like, she had boundaries with people. People knew what to say and do with her and what not to say and do with her. And on top of like just my phone notifications, things like that, like usually this is something I think most people need to learn. You don't need to be on every scene. FOMO is a very real thing. And I only commit to 2 things a day. A day. Like, yeah, that's so real.
In my life. Okay.
Like, girl, on the weekend, you know, they be like, oh, come here, do this, do that, do that. Yeah, I'm only gonna give y'all 2. So if you want me for brunch, cool. If I commit to one thing after brunch, cool. And that one thing can't take more than like 3 hours. Right. I need to be back on my way home at a certain time because I now need to come out of my day, then get in my bed. 2 things a weekend. Like, people overcommit and then wonder why they're stressed and burnt out because they're overly obligated to people. What are you obligated for? I used to be like, yo, what you eat don't make me ish. Like, what we doing? What are we doing?
You know what? It is so funny for me to hear someone else say it because, and this is a large part of like really the importance of your circle and like knowing yourself and like finding your tribe, because you will easily connect with energies that don't align with yours and start taking on all of what they do, and then it doesn't align with who you are, and now you like burnt out and you got to come see Cheya. She got to
get you together. With love though, everything I do is love, but it's literally like, okay, I'm gonna challenge you. Like, okay, so why do you feel that way? Like, let's talk about that. If you telling me you feel bad, sis, let that go. Like, that's not real. Let it go.
Right. So true. I know that like you have for a while. First of all, your book. If you guys do not have Cheya's book, yes, Holding Space for Self. If you do not have this book, you need to get it. There are so many gems in her book that will support you. But also, if you are not following her, again, please do. Cheya is offering a lot of key points on social media, specifically on Instagram for me, but she can tell you about other platforms that she's using. But you give so many great tips, and I know there's like so much that people can gain from it and implement into their day at some point, right? For me, it's like I take things and I'm like, oh, I can do that in the morning, but my schedule, the way it's set up, I wake up at 4:30, I might not be able to do all of that, right? So tell us about your daily routine. Like, you open your eyes and on a normal weekday, what are you doing?
On a normal weekday, the moment I open my eyes, I usually say, thank you, Lord. Like literally. I know you hear people say it, but I usually say, thank you, Lord, from the moment I open my eyes. Then I don't keep my phone in my bedroom. My phone is in my bathroom. And my alarm usually goes off earlier. So what I'll do, because on an average day, I wake up at like 7, but my alarm goes off at 6. So what I do is I actually get up at 6, go get the phone to turn the alarm off, but I bring it in the bed with me. Because the second thing I do once I open my eyes is I actually open my phone and read my devotional.
Yeah.
So I have one devotional that I actually read, and then I have an audio one. So I read one, then I listen to the audio one, and I say a prayer before I get out of bed. Then I start my day. Automatically, I get in a shower, brush my teeth, get dressed. My dog is a huge part of my life. So if you've been following me, if you have not, you'll visit my page. You'll see he's in my stories. He's not all over my page, but he's definitely in my stories. And also, part of my routine is a morning walk with him. So we actually just did an IG reel with me walking him in the morning. Like that's literally what I do for like 20 minutes. And in that time, I listen to Joyce Myers. So that's what I'm doing. My mornings. Yo, and I've been trying to like figure out when's the best time to listen. I found that when I'm walking the dog, that's the best time to listen for me. Because when I come back, I make my coffee. I come in my office. I put my phone down. I'm still listening to her. I've been eating apple turnovers like crazy lately. So I grab an apple turnover. I have my coffee. And then I sit down in the office. I get to work. I'll usually do probably like 3 or 4 times throughout the day. I stop whatever I'm doing and I actually just go hug my dog. And it's really like, it's just a physical thing. He knows I'm here. Even if he's not in the same room with me, I feel connected to someone. Like hugs are important. We do not give hugs enough credit. Like I used to literally work at the Puma store in Soho and give out free hugs to people, like as a greeter, because hugs are very important. And some people in your life, they might have never had a hug for the year. And that's something we don't think about. But if you think about older people, senior citizens and things like that, if they don't have family that's alive or visiting them, when you engage with them, sometimes the embrace seems a little longer, and it's because they don't have anyone hugging them. That may be the only hug that they get for the next 60 days. And that's huge for them. So I connect with my dog in that way because that's the hug throughout the day. When it gets stressful, I just like step away. Let me just go hug the dog, give him a kiss. I take him outside. I also go outside a lot. Like I send him outside, but I also go in my backyard a lot. And I just stand there and I'm just like, deep breath. All right. Thank you, Lord. I come back inside. I get back to my work again. My new thing is I just got a bike. So I'm riding my bike throughout the evenings now. I'm doing 30 days, 30 rides. I literally just got it. This just started this week, guys. So listen, you hold me accountable. Follow me on Instagram. If you don't see a post, be like, yo, what's up? Because I definitely am making sure I get my 30 days, 30 rides. But I make sure I'm cooking. I usually cook at the beginning of the week. I just finished my food, so I'm cooking right now. I'm constantly like, I just make sure that I'm good. I have water. I do not like water, but I literally have water in like every room. I try and drink a little bit in the morning, a little bit throughout the day. I drink kombucha. This is a huge part of my day. I make it at home, so I'm drinking kombucha.
You make it. That's amazing.
Yep, I've been drinking kombucha for over 20 years now. So I literally make it at home, brew it myself, and just drink my own batch. I don't buy it anymore. So my whole day is about a form of self-care. And it's all about intentionality though, more than anything else. Like when I feel myself getting to that place where I'm like, okay, check in. Like, did you pray today? Did you go for a walk today? Like, did you do something creative today? Like, are you feeling stressed? Why are you feeling stressed? I like to identify the verbiage for it, right? Like, what are you feeling? Are you annoyed? Are you frustrated? Like, I think that's important. I need to put the words and the feelings together. And then from there, I'm like, okay, how am I going to support myself in this? What's my coping mechanism for this in this season right now? Do I need water? What do I need right now? And a lot of the time when you do that and you do a wellness check-in within yourself, you may recognize, wow, I haven't eaten today. You know what? I didn't have any water today. Dang, I didn't have enough rest last night. And what people don't always realize is that when it comes to sleep, sometimes you're tired, but it's not from the night last night. It's from the night before. There's usually a 2-day delay in that. And people don't realize that either. So this is my whole day is kind of like, I'm working. I get frustrated. Trust me. I'll pick up the phone. I'll call somebody. But I also do a lot of praise reports. Like I just got these, which are prayer cards. And I keep affirmations on my desk all the time. Girl, you're not going to believe where I got these from.
You about to tell me Dollar Tree or something? I love it.
Dollar Tree. These
I
are
love
scripture cards
it.
at Dollar Tree.
Oh
So,
my God. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed. Yes, for his compassions never fail. Yes. Lamentations 3:22. See, God is so good. So the routine that you just delivered to us, because let me tell you, people really don't know where to start. It's kind of, and sometimes they start and don't continue, or sometimes they start, stop, start, stop. And the discipline of it all is key, but it can't feel like a chore, because I know from experience, once you get into that groove, you have so much energy, you feel so vivacious, and it's like when you are not feeling like that, there's a breakdown somewhere in the middle.
and it shifts your mindset. Like more than anything else, you don't realize a lot of the time, and the Bible speaks about this, we need to encourage ourselves. We need to lean on the Lord, trust in him, gain understanding and wisdom from him. But you can't keep relying on other people to feed your ego, stroke your ego, and be your motivation. You have to encourage yourself. So if you're in your word, you're being fed the word of God, then you're getting up and you're moving your body. Body movement helps encourage you. Once you start seeing results, the endorphins get going, your brain, your oxygen level, all these things start shifting. Like those are the things that I think people don't realize. And you're like, oh, I don't feel like it. Visit my IG page. I got a whole thing about shifting your mindset. I don't feel like it. Like you're not always gonna feel like doing stuff. And somebody I really I follow online, and I think she's just hilarious a lot of the time, is Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins.
I love Mel. The
She's
5-second rule is not you. I get into Mel. People need to know about Mel.
But she's always like, I don't feel like going to yoga. I don't want to work out. I don't ever want to work out. Who really wants to be like, yo, let me go work out? You know why I work out? I work out so I can keep eating. You know why I like that? Because I want to eat whatever I want to eat, and I don't want to think about it.
Right. I don't want to be counting calories.
I don't want to think about it. I'm just going to eat. I'm going to eat and live, right? I want to eat. So I'm going to work out so I can eat. And it ain't even about like, oh, well, I want to just look good naked. I want to have my summer body. Nah, they going to catch whatever body I'm giving. But
you're going to get these pies and thighs.
That's that.
I love it. So good, and so necessary. I would love to know, if you could be anywhere in the world doing anything with anyone at any time, what would it be?
So I'm actually going on a trip soon, and I'm actually really excited. So I am going to Kenya in like a month and like I'm in a week or something like that. So Kenya, just Africa in general, I would be on the continent. I would be with friends. I used to have this thing growing up with my friends. And if you've known me from like the age of 10, I've probably said this to somebody who's been in my friendship circle. Like I want to get to a place in my life where we call our friends and we say, meet me at the airport. Like, and everybody knows what's up. Like, and the last person there pays for the fuel. Like, that's just where I want to be in my life. I'm getting to that place. It's going to happen. Like, even my tax man, he's so funny. He's like, Cheya, it's coming. It's coming. Like, that's the place I want to get to. So if I could be anywhere in the world, I want to make that phone call. We all meet at the daggone jetway, and we getting on this flight, and we're going to either Kenya, we're going to South Africa. My plan is to be in Zanzibar in South Africa for the new year. Like, that's what I want. That's the life I want. So if I could be anywhere and with anyone, I want to be with the people who just see me, who hear me, who support me, who love me. And there are a lot of people in our lives we don't realize don't really got love for you. And you think they do because it's time. You think they do because you invested so much. And there's people that will come into your life and you just met them 3 weeks ago, and they will care about you and do more for you than somebody who's been in your life. And we got to learn that relationships are not just transactional. They are not just historical. Relationships should be relational. There should be a building.
Yeah. Connection is key, and vulnerability and openness, right? Authenticity, so many things.
all of that. And I want to be with those people because I breathe easier when I don't have my guard up 100% of the time. I know that for myself. Like my best friend lives in Kenya. When I'm with my best friend and his family, I literally feel my breaths differently.
Yeah.
When I'm with people who know me and I don't have to have my guard up, my breath is so light.
Yeah.
Like when you recognize the difference in your body when you're around certain people, those are the people I want to be with.
Yeah, that is gem. It is gem. It's also like you, again, it goes back to like the knowing yourself, right? Like you have to know, like not only knowing yourself but loving yourself.
That part.
Loving yourself enough to say like this is not serving me, and so I need to step away from it, right?
Yeah.
And not feel obligated or feel bad.
Don't feel bad. But you know what's funny about loving yourself? And my grandmother asked me this. She said, do you love yourself? And I said, yeah, grandma, I love myself. This was like 10, 15 years ago. And it wasn't until I think the year before she died. And I said, grandma, I really love myself now. Like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the time we think we love ourselves. We really think we do, especially when people like self-love, self-love, self-love. A lot of the time you don't know what that looks like because you never experienced love.
Yeah.
And that's where God comes in, right? Like when you
Yeah.
really got a relationship with God, you can have a new level of love, not just for yourself, but for others. Like the Bible calls us to love your neighbor as yourself. But what's implied is that you love yourself.
Right.
And people don't talk about that enough. And I'm like, do y'all really realize that this man is applying like you gotta love yourself to love your neighbor as yourself, and you can't give something you don't have. And we don't think about it that way. Like, oh yeah, love my neighbor. Okay, that's my neighbor. I don't really like. No, but do you like yourself? But do you
Right.
love yourself? And when you really
Right.
sit with that, a lot of people will realize, no, I don't really love myself. Like when my grandmother asked me that, I didn't really love myself. I definitely didn't. Like I'm 40 and I just came into a space where I'm like, yeah, I love her. I love me.
Also, when you are growing and transitioning and still learning about yourself, and right, we are made in his image, so we too are creators, and we are creating ourselves every day. We are making decisions that change the trajectory of our future, right? And sometimes we sit in the decisions we wish we wouldn't have made, right? And don't love ourselves enough to pull, and all of it is working in tandem, like, ooh, Cheya.
It really is. Like God works all things together for the good of those who love him and who are called. Romans 8:28. One of my favorite scriptures. Like he really does. But we gotta give it to him. We gotta trust him. And it's funny, I always joke with God, like, I don't know why I trust you with some areas of my life, but I don't trust you with all of them. Like, we'll be like that. Like, he could do the job thing, but he can't do the love thing. When this is the same God who built the earth, like, he could bring your husband right to your front door and you ain't left your house in 6 months. He could do it. If anybody could do it, he could do it.
If anybody could do it, he could do it.
And we don't be trusting. We don't be believing. Trust me, I'm talking to myself right now too. So.
Oh, look, I feel the spirit moving through me because God sends confirmation, whether it be through this podcast, whether it be through Instagram posts. Like when your heart is open and vulnerable to the Lord and submitted, he will answer. And we have to step away from what we think it should look like, could look like, supposed to look like, and just receive. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just receiving. So I hope you all are receiving, because this is a moment that could change your life, really, this moment right here. So I'm so grateful and thankful to God for just the way he uses you, the way he uses us to like encourage and uplift others and draw people to him, because that's what it's about. Thank you so much. This is so good. So many gems. Again, you guys have to follow Cheya, but before you go, we have to dive into Moral Dilemma. It is one of my favorite games to play. And so I'm going to pick a random card. I'm not even going to look.
Go for it.
Warning, there are always some crazy scenarios in here. Hopefully it will be PG. And I will ask Cheya. I'll discuss the topic, and I will guess what Cheya would say. Cheya would guess what I would pick, and we'll discuss.
Okay.
Oh, Oh, um, this is crazy. Why would this be the card? What year was this? I have to. You guys are like, just read it, Renata. Dang, you're so dramatic. But listen, when I read it, it's even more important for me to know what year. I don't know. 2016.
Okay, I don't know what's on
Okay,
this
are you
card.
ready for this?
Go.
You and your soulmate have finally found each other, but an outbreak of a deadly pandemic disease will wipe out the Earth's population in 4 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Is that crazy?
That's actually crazy and pretty funny at the same time. Okay.
Okay. So, do you stay and spend the remaining time together until you both die in loving embrace? Or do you board the evacuation spaceship with your soulmate, bound for another Earth like planet, losing all your memories of by being put into what? Cryogenic stasis? Now you guys know I'm all uneducated. What is that?
Cryogenics is when they freeze you, right? Like in a cryogenic state. Cryo, I think,
You
is
know better than me.
frozen. I think that is. Yeah, I think it's like frozen because I know they do like a cryogenics therapy or something where they like make it really icy cold. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I'm not with it, but I could be wrong.
So I'm gonna say you're gonna die in a loving embrace.
Yeah, I'm not getting on anybody's spaceship. I just had this conversation this morning with one of my homegirls. Like, why are people so excited to like be the first person to go to like Mars? Like, this is what people do when they're bored. Like, what are we doing? I don't need that much money where I'm like, let me go to Mars right quick. Like, I'm good. There's so much to do here on Earth that God has sent us here to assignment wise. I'm not really sure anyone's assignment includes Mars. I could be wrong though. You might have heard it from God and he's like, yo, you need to go to Mars today. Cool. You got the money for it. He gives it to you. You blessed and you do so. But not my energy, not where I'm at in life. But yeah, I'm going to stay right
Yeah.
here. And yeah, we're going to go to the beach. We're going to chill out. We're going to rock this thing out for the next 4 hours.
Yeah, and spend eternity together. How about
That's
that?
what I'm saying. Because I'm like, we're not really dying. So
Yeah.
I'm good.
They lost me at this Earth-like planet. What is Earth-like?
No.
Will there be oxygen or no?
No.
Like,
I'm not with
will there
it.
be plant life or no? Like, no thanks.
And I'm not eating astronaut food to get there. So I'm good. I'm good. I'm super good. Mm-mm.
So good, Cheya. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining me
you.
today. It has been a pleasure as always. If you are not following Cheya, please do so at Cheya Thousand on Instagram. Cheya, anything you want to share with the people, things you have coming up, information you would like to share, feel free.
I think my biggest thing would be like, yo, just be an active participant in your own life and live your life with intention all day, every day. And even if you mess up, like just get back up again and dust yourself off and
Yeah.
make your next move your best move, or just put one foot in front of the other. Run your own race. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Live the life that God has for you because all of us are destined for something. All of us are here on purpose at this point in time in history. God does not make mistakes. So live the life that He has called you to live and glorify Him in doing that. Like, He's going to get the glory no matter what. But I encourage you to be on the right side of that and glorify Him throughout it. And then just trust Him. It's hard, but trust Him. None of this is easy. This walk ain't easy. We stumble. We all stumble. It ain't easy, but it's worth it. God is just so amazingly good. Like, wow. That's it.
Amazing. Yeah, so good. Ah, all of that. Thank you so much, you guys. We had an amazing time here with you today. I hope that you all will join us again. Feel free to rewind and rewatch and share with friends because there are so many gems that you obviously got today, but also other people deserve as well. I'm just grateful that you all are tuning in. We'll be back with more balanced and beautiful conversations in this series. Could go on for a while. I am loving it. I'm enjoying it today. Cheya, you bless us tremendously, and it's been a wonderful time. We will see you all soon.
Thanks for
Thank
having me.
you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.